Hello, I'm Scott Hutchison. I'm the project manager with CNS, and I'm going to be demoing our ERC project. This is our Engineering Research Center Observatory project, which is a collaboration between the CNS Center at Indiana University and the Nano Hub team at Purdue University. Our primary goal is to develop and deploy interactive data visualizations for NSF staff, researchers, and students to increase their understanding of temporal, geospatial, topical, and network patterns and trends within the field of engineering. So we have a few main portions. We have our Nano Hub Interface, a Co-Authorship Network, a science map, and our Co-Authorship Geo Map. I'll first start with our interface here. It allows users to import their publication data and curate this data in order to clean and correct the citations and author names that are found within each data file. You can then download the file, updated file after making your edits. So I will add a sample publication file here. You can either drop and drag a BibTeX file, or you can just select this button and choose from files on your computer. So here's the interface here. We have our author disambiguation helper. So an issue you often see with publication files is that one author is being represented by multiple variations of their name, and this interface allows users to find all variations of one author's name and combine to the preferred format. You can edit the citations below to include author role, gender, and provide a geolocation, which will be represented in 3 visualizations created from this publication data. You can select gender, you can select their role, you can also add their geolocation. After these edits are made, you can re-download the publication data and save this to your files and reuse it again. So at the bottom here you see we have 3 buttons for our visualizations. We have a map of science, author geolocation network, and the co-authorship network. We'll go ahead and start with the co-authorship network. So this is an interactive visualization that shows a collaboration network that's based on co-authorship relations extracted from the publication file. It helps with 3 major things. It helps identify clusters of authors that collaborate frequently, detect authors that serve as gatekeepers, or those who can interconnect these different clusters often, and lastly, to identify strong co-author linkages that likely serve as main collaboration and knowledge diffusion pathways. So when you left-click on a node, it selects that node, highlights its connections, and also opens up a publication pop-up in the bottom left. It also highlights in the corresponding bar graph on the right all the selected nodes' collaborations. So in the publication pop-up, you see all the publications that the author you selected is included on. When you select these links, it takes you to view that article. When you left-click on a bar graph entry, it also selects this entry in the corresponding node in the network, its publication pop-up, and its connections. Mousing over on a node highlights its node and the connections in the corresponding bar graph entry. So also mousing over on an edge, let's get one here, highlights the edge and connected nodes and shows the labels of their corresponding bar graph entry. We also have a slider which lets you filter the labels by number of papers that the authors below are included on. So for instance, when you select this to 1 paper, every single node on this visualization has an author label. So you can increase this to show who in particular in this data set are the most prolific publication authors. Zooming in and out is either done from the button in the top left or from your mouse scroll bar. Right-clicking on a node opens up a color picker, which allows the user to select a specific color that they would like that node to be highlighted as. We also have a usage button that highlights all these interface operations for easy reference. Next we'll go to our science map. This is an interactive map that supports the exploration of expertise profiles of a researcher, center, department, or university, which is then overlaid on a science map so that the outliers, clusters, and trends can be recognized. So this map represents 554 subdisciplines of science and their relationships to one another. All 554 of these subdisciplines are grouped into 13 overall disciplines, which are color-coded. So this map helps us track what topics a particular center's publications focus on and to identify the most promising areas of research. We allow for zooming in, which increases you can either zoom in through the button on the top left or through your mouse scroll bar or wheel. And this allows the nodes to increase size for higher visibility. We also have a black and white switching button, which switches the background. We also have our usage button, which shows all the interface operations for easy reference. Lastly, we also have a download SVG button, which when selected will allow you to download an SVG copy of the screen that you're currently looking at for use in posters or other papers that the user will be using this visualization for. So when you're left clicking on a node, this will open up the publication pop-up in the bottom left. And this pop-up includes the author name, year, title, and journal that the publication, on all the publications that are included on that specific subdiscipline. In this case, it's environmental chemistry. Mousing over a node displays the labels from all the nodes on that same discipline. Lastly, we have our Co-Authorship Geo Map. And this is an interactive visualization that shows the co-authorship network that you saw before, but overlaid on a geospatial map of the world. So each node represents an author, and two authors are connected by an edge if they have authored a paper together. So this shows a global view of the collaborations that exist within a center's publication data. As always, you can zoom in and out, either with the button on the top left or using your mouse scroll wheel. We also have our usage button, which highlights all the interface options for easy reference. On this, if you hover over a node, it'll show all the connections of that node globally. If you select the node, it pulls up the publication pop-up in the bottom left, which gives you a link to the publication for that particular author that you can go to. When hovering over these nodes, it also shows them in the horizontal bar graph on the right. And when you hover over a name in the horizontal bar graph, it highlights the nodes and the connections on the visualization itself. So thank you for listening in. Hope this demo was informative and hope to see you on our other videos.